this computer. There we go. Boom. That's recording. And then you guys can edit out the beginning here.
Yeah, we're recording.
All right. And all right. So, all right. Lead off. Here we go.
Well, this is the Breakroom Talk podcast, and I'm Kyrie.
Said John.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we are approaching our 125th episode right now. Yeah. Sure. So yeah, we are doing a interview style thing here with I guess at that point you can introduce who you are and what you do.
My name's Dave Weiss. They call me FlatEarthDave, and what I do is I introduce people to what they think is the most ridiculous topic on Earth, the flat Earth, right? How do you guys feel about the Earth being flat? Crazy? Not crazy? Maybe? Where you guys?
It was definitely a maybe for me, man. I actually wanted to ask you, how did you get the name FlatEarthDave? Like,
it's just. I've been doing so many shows with people. They're just like, they refer to me as FlatEarthDave, and it's stuck, you know? Just like when I was a kid, they called me Weasel. Didn't like that very
much. Did you always believe the Earth was flat, or it's like
hell no?
The information changed your view about it.
I refused to even look. It wasn't until 6 years ago that I was forced to look because I was sick of people sending me flat Earth stuff saying, "Hey, talk about this on your podcast." And I went in to debunk it. I went in going, all right, flat Earth is stupid. I can easily prove the globe. I can easily disprove flat Earth.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, I came out on the other side going, holy crap.
I need to see how someone could debunk. How can you debunk the whole, like, I'm okay. If you were at a point where you say, hey, flat Earth is stupid, then you go back and say, oh, no, it actually makes sense. I need to know what these facts were to help this.
To make it a whole 180 is just like not even just like thinking about it. Maybe possibly it's like a whole 180, like to the other side.
Because he's a maybe over here, but I think us two we're the Earth is a globe.
Well, here's something that two of you have in common is you never really looked into the heliocentric model, the globe model, and your belief of what the flat Earth model is incorrect. We've all been brainwashed. We've all been brainwashed to think that the Earth is flat Earth is a pancake floating in space with other round planets because the other planets appear to be round, right? They look like they're round. The pictures,
right?
NASA has shown us, but I can show you how all of that's fake. That's not what flat Earth is. What flat Earth is the Earth is a flat plane. The way I describe it, it's the basement of the universe. And think about what a pond is. A pond of water is the low spot in the land where water accumulates, and the edge of the pond is just where the land is higher than the edge of the water, right? That's the edge of a pond. So a lake is a bigger pond. If you were on a lake and sailed to the edge of the lake, could you fall off the lake? No, you just step onto the land, right? It's not the end. It's not the edge of a pancake. What the flat Earth is a giant lake, okay? All of the islands that we call continents are surrounded by water, and all of that water is surrounded by land, and that land is called Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It's not a continent at the bottom of a ball. That's crazy. Antarctica is just the shoreline that surrounds the world pond, okay?
When you have, I'm sorry for cutting you off or not, but you said the world is just surrounded only around Antarctica. When you have to like go way back, like with Pangea or something like that, and that the whole everything in one, when that kind of started off, or kind of make more sense with the point you're trying to say with Antarctica. That's like one part of it.
Yeah, well, the whole Pangea story is nonsense. It's not real. It's just a story.
Yeah.
The Earth was created, right? That was a shock to me. And it's not a random accident. It's an intelligently designed system. So let's get into some of the proofs that it's not a globe, proofs that it is flat, and then we can get into the why, if you like. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and these are questions that I did not know the answer to when I was asked. So don't feel bad if you get them all wrong. On the globe model, how fast do you think the Earth is spinning? Right, we're
Like a
spinning
whole
once a day. Yeah, if you're on the equator, how fast is the Earth spinning?
Don't they say it take a whole year to spin one time?
Well, no. That's orbiting. So first, it spins around once a day, they say. So
Right.
and it's 24,000 miles about at the equator. So it's going about 1,000 miles an hour. That way, it's 24 hours to go around once at the equator.
Right.
While it's spinning, it's orbiting the sun. It goes around once a year, but it's going at 66,600 miles per hour. While it's spinning and orbiting the sun is flying through the galaxy at 500,000 miles per hour. Wow. Sounding crazy, right? I'm talking crazy nonsense, but this is what you have to believe. And our entire galaxy is going sideways at 1 or 2 million miles per hour, right? We have all of these different curving motions. It's not like linear motion. Like if you're in a car going 100 miles an hour on a straight road and you have a dinner plate with an inch of water on it, no problem. As soon as that car starts turning, that water is going to slosh right off the plate, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we're spinning, orbiting, corkscrewing through the galaxy, through the universe, and we have lakes that are perfectly glass, not a ripple on them, nothing, right? But when, if I tapped my foot next to that lake, it would send waves, send a ripple all the way across that lake. I mean, any tiny motion, our bodies can sense. If you're on an airplane, you're cruising, fell asleep, you're napping, comfy chair, right? And then you're 45 minutes from your landing destination and the pilot starts to slowly descend. You wake up, you're like, oh my God, we changed our direction. We're spinning, whirling, twirling, and nobody can feel a thing. I think
that's by design, though. I think that may be by design.
Or do gravity come into play with that?
But that's what I'm saying. Like by design, I feel like that when you talk about like the layers of the when you get to a certain, like when you pass the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, I think though is by design. I think at a certain altitude, everything is more like when you when you go underneath a certain altitude, I think that's when everything is a lot more gravity is more stable.
Well, here's the thing about gravity. Even the high priest of scientism, Neil deGrasse Tyson, says he doesn't know what gravity is. They don't know how it works. Every test they've ever done doesn't work. And as a matter of fact, they have to make up dark matter and dark energy that fills in 96% of space. They say 90 some odd percent of space is dark energy and dark matter because it has to be. Otherwise, the gravity equation doesn't work, right? So they're making up shit to fill in their made up shit. Okay. But in reality, down is down for me. And then Australia would be over there and down is down, right? Australia is not, down is not up and I'm down. Everything is down. Down is down for everybody. Up is up for everybody. Left and right and forward or back are all relative to whatever direction you're facing. But there is only one down. And let me explain how that works. So the Earth is literally like a battery. It has a negative charge to it. And the higher you get up off the ground, there's a positive charge that is stronger and stronger. There's voltage actually in the air. This is scientific, you can learn about this, but this is, science. This is provable, testable, repeatable science. So there's voltage in the air. So that negative charge on the Earth attracts anything that has a positive charge to it, right? And everything has a little bit of a positive charge to it. So it'll set the downward direction, and then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. If I had a handful of ping pong balls and a handful of marbles and I held them in the air over a pool and I dropped them, they'd all fall through the air. They'd land on the water. The ping pong balls would stay on the top of the water and the marbles would go to the bottom, all because of buoyancy and density. Okay. So that's it. So what I'm showing here, and I'll describe it for the people listening. We took a metal plate and we held it over the floor, and we have a Van der Graaf generator, which can generate a negative charge into the plate. And we cranked that negative charge up to be stronger than the Earth's negative charge. And little pieces of paper and wood and metal and hairs started lifting up and going up instead of down because they got confused because the downward force was being overwhelmed by that. This is, I'm showing you, you can just Google this. It's called, just put anti-gravity tinfoil triangle. And what they do is they make these tinfoil triangles and they put a negative charge into them and they float up into the air. So that negative charge is just overwhelming the negative charge of the Earth that's setting the downward direction, and it goes up. Gravity is a made up force to make you think you live on a spinning ball and that you evolved from monkeys.
All right, so how would you explain, like, once you get out of the Earth's atmosphere or the sun's spin, you get in space and you just kind of, you do just with the tinfoil thing going there, you kind of float, like, what is that you getting out of the Earth's energy and all that stuff?
This was the hardest one for me to wrap my mind around. Space is fake. Nobody's ever been there. It's all lies.
Oh man,
I can prove it.
Okay, all right.
You know what though? You know what? It's a bit of. I have a bit of skepticism in when it comes to this, the whole, if anyone's been to certain planets or moon or whatever.
Yeah.
So I understand how somebody could feel that way. Okay. But there is plenty of, like, I mean, if you even just, let's say the photography or photos or videos, footage of the orbiting of Earth.
Space.
I mean, like at this point, I know you, I guess you can.
Like NASA and everything, like.
Yeah.
So what I'm showing here, this is the actual footage of the moon landing, the lander that went into orbit to connect with the orbiter. And if you look at it, literally South Park would reject it because it's just ridiculous. There's two grown men with diapers in this toy. This is obviously a model in a dark room, and this is what they showed us as real. So when you talk about a rotating planet and stuff, there are no pictures of Earth rotating. How come they don't? You know, the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. You guys there? You lost your camera.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The same side of the moon always faces Earth. How come NASA doesn't put a camera filming Earth rotating? We could watch storms. We could watch eclipses. We could watch everything.
But I thought we have those, though.
No, we don't. You thought we did. So look, I'm showing you. NASA has two pictures of Earth. One from 2012 and one from 2002, I think. I can't see that, it's kind of small. And look at the United States. This is the first one, is the one that was on everyone's iPhone. It's half the size of the one that was later. So, you know, is America getting fatter?
Maybe it showed the Earth turned up.
Well, but again, if you look closely in, you'll see that all the clouds are photoshopped. They're stepped and repeated. The same clouds are repeating again and again and again all over the map.
Yeah, I do see that.
Yeah. And then if you look at the later one, if you say, okay, let's do some measurements, and we could see Mexico and Baja, and that's something we could drive, and we know that's about 934 miles. And they tell us the diameter of the Earth is 7,917 miles. So I should be able to take that little strip from Baja across Mexico and fit 8.5 of them in there. But I can't even fit 8.5 on this page. I can fit maybe 3 in there. So what that proves right there, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is you're looking at a painting and NASA's lying, or perhaps the Earth is tiny and half the continents don't exist. I don't think that's the case, because we know people living everywhere.
So let me ask you this: what will be like all conclusion of like the reason for like all this made up stuff that they're doing?
Let's save that for a little bit later. Let's go through some more stuff, because that'll be the finish, because we only have just under an hour here, because I got another show at the top of the hour.
Okay.
So, another thing is, you know, NASA shows us ridiculous pictures. Anybody listening, go on your computer and Google photo of Pluto, the latest photo of Pluto, and they show this desert that's shaped just like the dog Pluto. They're literally mocking us. The mockery, excuse me, the mockery is unreal. How bad it is. So
wait, hold on. So wait.
It's like it's in the shape of.
I see it, but I mean, I could make a character out of that. You know what I'm saying? It could be.
Well, you know what? That could just be my imagination running wild. Yeah, just look at it yourself. But you know, when you say pictures of Earth spinning, well, they show us pictures of Jupiter, you know, which is a gaseous planet, and they show us these strips spinning in different directions, and the red spot, which is a storm bigger than the Earth is. Yeah. So it's a very cloudy, gaseous planet. So do you think you could take two pictures a day apart and the clouds would look the same? And the answer is, of course not, right?
No,
of course not.
Come on, Pluto? I mean,
no, Jupiter.
But why not? If it's rotating and it's constantly rotating at the same speed,
No,
the
you don't
same.
get different clouds every time.
No, but
I mean,
they're
yeah. I mean, the pattern may be the same. You see the.
Well, look, the pattern's changing right here in this time lapse, which is over a couple of days.
Okay.
So this is just over a couple of days. Well, NASA has a picture from 2014. This is the picture that everyone's seen of Jupiter. It's the only one that really exists. And then in 2016, they said, hey, we got a picture of the Northern Lights. And which looks ridiculous. If you look it up, it's on their website. But if you overlay these two pictures, they're exactly the same. Every single cloud is exactly the same. So basically, they just used the same picture. They made one of them a little darker than the other. And they put this little, I don't want to say Photoshop because that's an embarrassment to Photoshop. I'll call it MS Paint, thing up there. It's
oh man, that's funny.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, I get it. The exaggeration of the understanding, I get it. But okay, did you so happen to see the whole recently Jupiter? You were able to see Jupiter and Saturn in the sky.
The alignment, absolutely, 100%.
Right. Did you see that?
Yes, absolutely.
So
what did we see?
We seen a sphere. We seen sphere-like.
Sphere-like. I'll take sphere-like. We're gonna go over that in a second.
Things in the sky that orb, and it had a bunch of little different stars or moons around it, and then you can see Saturn's little ring. So at this point, why would I not be not even forced? Because I don't want to help your situation here, but I want to say, why would I think to myself that these other things seems to be in a sphere type, shape.
They seem to be. You keep saying seem to be, and I like that because they do seem to be. So I'm going to show you guys 4 moons. Now, to me, I think the moon is round, maybe spherical. I don't know. But I don't think the moon that we see is even physical. But I'm going to show you 4 moons. And the first thing I want to say is, do you have lights in your ceiling? Look up at your lights and tell me what shape your floor is. They have no correlation to each other, right? The pool balls on a pool table don't mean that the pool table is spherical. It means that the things, I don't care what shape they are above us, but they're not what you think. I'm showing a picture of Arcturus, which is a star. That doesn't look like a burning ball of gas to me. Our optics have outrun their lies. So I'm showing 4 moons here. Is the first one a sphere? And the answer is, well, it's a half a sphere. Quickly, before she touches this one, is the next one a sphere?
That's a whole sphere.
That's a whole sphere, right? It looks like a sphere. I'm with you. Unfortunately, it's flat. Okay. So anything we see, is this one a sphere? Last one?
Shit, no.
Okay. Well, it's a cup. So my point is, the things that we see in the sky, the only thing we can say about them accurately is their lights. We don't know how.
I guess that last one.
We don't know how big they are. We don't know how far they are. We don't know what they are. We don't know because it's above our heads.
That's what you meant earlier with the whole plate demonstration. Like if you have some water on the plate, if you move at a slow pace, it won't slide off. And if you move a little faster, it slides off.
Like how the Earth.
I mean,
if you believe that you're on a spinning ball, and that means when you're watching the sunset at the beach, the reason the sun is going down is because you're on the top of a ball falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. Okay, because that's crazy.
I know, but think about this. Any of this shit, the existence of life is fucking crazy sometimes. Like at the end of the day, like how we are even. It's some stuff that's above our understanding, because
very much so
matter, it's just like how we even formulate, how we even go together as man and woman to create babies, how we do, how our genetics.
You guys believe in God?
Yeah, I believe in God, yes.
Okay, so hold on. Before this, I didn't believe in God. Anyone that mentions God, I'd say you're a religious fanatic, and I wouldn't even listen to them anymore, even if I liked what they were saying until they mentioned God. I'm not religious, but the flat earth is God's creation. The heliocentric is a godless creation or possibly a God creation. You're spinning on a ball, flying through an infinite vacuum, which is impossible, with a high pressure system next to a vacuum, which is impossible. You're spinning out of control, lost in space. You came when a lightning struck and created an amoeba, which is impossible, which turned into a fish that grew legs, that turned into a monkey, that turned into a human. That's impossible. None of that's true, right? So, and where the truth is, this is the why. The truth is they want you believing that you're lost in space. You're in a prison. That prison is the globe. There's nothing more other than the globe here on Earth, when in fact the Earth might be something very different, where there could be more lands beyond Antarctica. So we live in the pond, and then in the outer spaces out south beyond Antarctica, there could be other worlds, other land, extra territory, extraterrestrials come from the outer space beyond Antarctica, where there's another sun.
So why would we be able to get through that just through our modern
very good question. So in 1959, they came up with the Antarctic Treaty, and nobody, no person, no corporation, nobody for any reason whatsoever is allowed to explore beyond 60 degrees south, which is still 1,000 miles or so from Antarctica. You can take a very expensive $10,000, $30,000 trip to Antarctica, where they'll take you to this little peninsula, which is huge. It's like literally the size of half the United States or whatever. And they'll show you some icebergs and some penguins, and they'll show you a ceremonial South Pole, but you can't verify it because compasses don't work and GPS doesn't work. And they'll tell you that's the South Pole, and then they kick you out. No one's allowed to explore the outer space.
Oh, quick question. I'm sorry. Just from the picture in your background, you want to just slide over a little bit so I can just see. So when you said the flat Earth, you saying that one section you're showing outside the 6 degrees, that is, I guess, would be like the 7 continents of what we think the world would look like, but that's like on a flat surface, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is more of the globe, but that's just what it looks like.
Well, I'm saying is, we're looking at this picture, we're kind of looking down at an angle at the flat Earth, and you're looking at a pond, relatively circular pond, and this is where we live. Here's the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and all the continents are there, but you're not allowed to go out here. Antarctica is likely bigger than all of the rest of the world combined, all the oceans, all of the continents.
Well, in the idea of a sphere Earth too, it's the same idea, and technically, like you go north or south too far, you're gonna get into some cold mess. So I mean,
that would be considered space, right?
No, it wouldn't. It'd be considered Antarctica.
Right.
I mean,
so
about what they're telling us it would be space.
So if you think about a globe,
it would just be Antarctica.
You think if you have a globe, think on the very bottom. We're looking at the bottom of a globe here, so we see Antarctica, and Santiago, Chile, is down near the bottom of the globe, and so is Australia down near the bottom of the globe on the other side. Okay, so the shortest trip would be a straight line between the two over Antarctica, or even just around Antarctica if you don't want to fly over Antarctica.
Right.
That would be the shortest trip ever. That would be the shortest trip. But when airplanes go, they fly from Santiago all the way up to the United States, across the United States, and then all the way back down. Why do they do that? And if they want to go to the other side of Australia, they go all the way up. They fly all the way over to England, to Europe, to Dubai, and then they go all the way down. And why do they do that? Because if you look at it on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line. Go all the way up across America, over to Europe, Dubai, and all the way over to Australia. It's a straight line. Airplanes fly straight and level over an Earth plane. All FAA manuals say treat the Earth as a flat, non-rotating plane.
But okay, so this is me basically saying I feel like I could kind of like give you the answer. No, because listen, like you understand, you can't just fly over any like water. You can't just fly over any.
In the United States,
we ain't talking about United States. We're talking about the world.
In the world, I mean, as far as like
so
but I'm talking about there are some treacherous areas where you shouldn't fly over.
So hang on. I'm gonna answer that. This stretch over here, Easter Island is out here. I think there's islands out here. There's people that live out here on islands. So you can fly there. So there's no reason they can't take. And by the way, this is stretched out. I'm showing here on a globe. It's much closer.
So what ocean is that, by the way?
This is the Indian Ocean out here, or this is the South Pacific.
It will be whatever
whatever
on the side of what California is.
Yeah. So Hawaii is out here. Okay. And And so you can fly here, but they don't because these trips are much longer than they tell us. And what nobody has ever done is nobody's flown south and gone around the world. You can go east and west around the world because those are circles. South just brings you farther away from the center of the flat earth.
So a person can't fly. Okay, so what about the people who says they can be in Alaska and go to Russia?
Yeah, so that is very easy. So think of this: the Earth.
Oh, I might have got you.
No. I'm looking for a video. So
okay.
so here I'm showing you the flat Earth, and the magnet is the center. That's the north. And if you put a compass down, the needle always has to point towards the center. So if you try to go east or west, you have to keep turning to maintain east. So if you want to go east from the United States, I can leave New York, travel east, but I got to keep turning to the north. And I'll go all the way around, and I'm back in California, back to New York, and I went dead reckoning 90 degrees the whole way. That doesn't prove the Earth is flat because it's the same on a ball, okay? If you try to dead reckon straight west, what happens is if you don't turn to the north, you're going south. South is every direction away from the center, right?
Away from it, yeah. Then that's how we do.
Let me. I'm going to share my app with you guys.
Goddamn. No, I knew this motherfucker was going to be prepared, but goddamn.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, guys. I'm not that great. I'm really not. There's only so many globe questions there are. We've all been programmed the same way, and there's only a small handful of objections to flat Earth, and everyone has the same ones. So I know what you guys are going to ask. And by the way, I was you. Trust me.
Man, look, man. Okay, listen, this is something that I gotta bring up. I've been interested in this topic before, right?
Yeah.
So I went on I'm into a bunch of science stuff. Like I watch this show called What If like all the time, right? I mean, just a bunch of science answers from their perspective, from a bunch of scientists' point of view. And a flat Earth conversation came up before. And it was just one thing that made a lot of sense to me when it came to the idea of flat Earth, right? So there was flat Earth with the idea that there is a space, because you did say you've seen outer space. You do see the sun, you do see the moon.
They're all within the Earth system. Go ahead.
I get what you're saying. Like, for example, if it's a sphere, it could be within a sphere, right? I mean, a dome, it could be within the dome, right?
It could be, it's within the dome, and the sun and the moon that we see, I don't think are physical. I think they're focused points of energy, plasma, but that's, again, I can't reach that high, so I really can't tell you honestly.
Okay. So regardless, it should still be an ends to the Earth. So with that idea, with an ends to the Earth, it has to be something that brings us to a whole flat, like where nothing, after all the tornadoes, the earthquakes, the things that rumbles and shake the foundation so much, it should be able to break this foundation that's sort of just a dome. Now, it with that being said, everything, like far as gravity, it will be moving things more toward the middle of the Earth rather than like.
Okay, let me interrupt.
Wait. Everything will be tilted. So because of our like the way the gravity is, because we get it. I guess you said that you had something to debunk gravity, but we know stuff. At the end of the day, things fall, and it has to be.
I explained why, because of the negative charge of the Earth. But you're listening to Vsauce. By the way, you're listening to Bill Nye, the lion guy with the bow tie. You're listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism and failed actor. And you're listening to Vsauce, a government-paid shill, who's telling us, if the Earth was a disc, as you're farther to the edge, it would pull you to the middle. Gravity doesn't exist. And I can prove that with electricity. Okay. Maglev trains don't defy gravity. They defy, they're not gravitic. They're defying magnetism. They're defying the electrical charge of the Earth. So this whole thing. So where's the edge? Why is Antarctica off limits? Nobody is allowed to even question the treaty until the year 2041.
I have to get more info on that, because my thing is, I respect what you're saying, but that's something that's been brought to my attention for the first time today.
All right, so
No.
I'm going to show you where to get the information because we only have a limited amount of time. And here's the thing: belief is the enemy of knowing, right? I can tell you, I went to medical school for 3.5 years, and then I quit because I just didn't like allopathic medicine, and I found a homeopathic way, and I'm a more natural person. And then you could either believe me, or you could say, let me figure out if this guy Weiss really went to medical school. It's going to take you about 2 weeks, and you're going to find out I never went to medical school. Belief is easy. You just believe, okay?
Yeah.
Knowing takes time, effort, critical thought, and more time. So I'm going to show you, if you try to Google flat Earth, you are going to get all sorts of government propaganda. You're going to get that Vsauce video. You're going to get just unbelievable propaganda. You're going to get there's so many turds in the punch bowl that you can't find any fruit for flat Earth because they changed the algorithm when the internet kind of got away from them and flat Earth really started taking off. There's many millions of us now and growing rapidly. So I created this app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. I'm going to give it to you guys. So, it's $2.99. Yes, I'm selling an app, but I walked away from my own business where I was making more money than I ever imagined I could make. And I walked away from it all to spread this message because you guys agree right now, the world is a little fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If we ever get our freedoms back, how long will we be able to hold on to them if we're lost in the matrix, thinking that we live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite universe and that we are random specks and not at the center of God's creation where nobody has dominion over us? Okay.
Well, let me ask you a real question. I know you got to get to this thing. Just a quick question. What does it mean to you to be right about this, though?
Well, it's not about being right. It's about knowing the truth. And once you see the deception, you really question how you ever believed it before. The mind control is unbelievable because it started before we can talk. That, every children's television show from Sesame Street to the Teletubbies to everything, they're all globe programming. You go to school, kindergartners are coming home with worksheets about the moon and the sun and the earth and the globe in the front of the class. You don't happen to have a globe in your house, do you?
No,
not yet.
Nah.
Next time you see a globe in a store, anywhere, pick it up and look at the sticker on the bottom, right? It says for educational purpose, not for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only, because it's a total deception. So real quick, let me just review what the app does and how you can get the information here. And by the way, you don't have to get the app. All of this information is free on the internet. It just takes you a long time to find it. The sun goes around once a day and it keeps track of the hours and the days. It laps the moon once every 28 days. So the moon, its position, and the phases keep track of the weeks and the months, right? The stars are fixed in their position in the sky, and they're rotating above us slightly faster than the sun. So the stars will spin with the sun, but they only lap the sun once a year. So right now, the sun is in Pisces. Okay. And the next zodiac behind it will slowly catch up, and next month it'll be in that zodiac, and the next month it'll be in Taurus, which will creep up. And so that's why the sun is in these zodiacal signs for a month of the year. And so the stars keep track of the seasons and the years, right? Here's how a compass works. The north is in the center. East and west are circles around that center, as we talked about earlier. And that's true on a ball and on a flat Earth. And south is every direction away from the center, right? As we talked, nobody goes from Santiago out south and then pops up over in Australia. Never happens, never will. Can't happen. It could happen on a ball, but it's never been done. So every day there's a new video, the featured video of the day, okay? And I do short ones during the week usually and longer ones on the weekend. And what I tell people is take the Flat Earth app challenge, watch the video every day for 2 weeks. And if you still think the earth is a globe after that and can supply me with one proof of the globe, I'm offering a Bitcoin to anybody that can do that. But before you do that, you have to hit that question mark button. You see the blue buttons? You hit the question mark and up come all of the questions you're going to ask. What about tides? What about eclipses? What about ships over the horizon? Or, hey, we can see too far. If I click we can see too far, up come all of the videos that YouTube has buried in with turds where you won't be able to find them. And this is stuff that you can verify yourself. Unlike NASA, every bullshit thing that they tell us cannot be verified. All right.
Another question. real quick. So just from the picture you got behind you, like how would you explain like all the land even staying together like that? If we're just like in a bowl per se, or everything being outlined by Antarctica, like would island will we kind of switch around like this a little bit?
Well, the Earth doesn't move. So think of just an endless plain, an endless frozen plain of ice with land underneath it. What's supporting the Earth? I don't know. It's the basement of the universe. I have no better words to describe it. This is God's creation. And then the sun. I didn't show you how the sun works, how seasons work, because this one's going to blow you away. So this is how seasons work. They tell us that seasons work by the little tilt of the sun, little tilt of the Earth. But you see there's three lines, circle lines on here. The center one is the equator, and the sun will be over that in September and March. But the sun migrates in between the inner line, which is the Tropic of Cancer. So if I'll hit the little jumping guy, I go to June, and the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer, and that's when we have our summer in the inner south, in the inner north. The inner lands are the north, so the sun is closer to us, higher over our heads. I'll speed it up, and you can see. Look at the sun. It goes right over Florida, Miami. That's why it's really hot in June in Miami, because the sun is high in the sky over your head. But then 6 months later, I'll jump it out 6 months.
Well, what about the fact that it's hot as hell in Africa?
Well, hold on. The Africa's the same thing. So now we're in December, and you can see that Australia is in the height of their summer because the sun is closer to them, higher in the sky. Right. And it's lower in the sky for us because it's out south across the plain. It's lower because due to perspective and distance. So it's lower in the sky. We're having our winter at the same time they're having their summer. And right now, South Africa is having, in December, South Africa is having the heat of their summer. Middle of Central America is having the heat of their summer. And that's how seasons work. And they only make sense on a flat Earth. We've been brainwashed into believing this tilting nonsense. Which is just crazy. And then right now we're almost at the equinox in March 21st. The sun will be in the center. It'll be marching in for the next 3 months to the heat of our summer. That's how it works.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Shit. I just feel like that's a good point in trying to, get the whole flat Earth thing.
So around March 21st, where would the sun be?
The sun will be right over the equator, which is the red line. So I'll jump it forward one more month, and that's April 1st. See, now it's on the inside a little bit. I can only jump a month at a time, and then 2 months later, it'll be over the Tropic of Cancer, which is our summer, and then it'll start marching out again. And we'll go back into our winter, and the South will have its summer.
Where we're covered, so I can know,
Yeah. Where are you guys located?
Cleveland, Ohio.
You're in Ohio, so it gets cold in the summer, cold in the winter, and hot in the summer.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
So here's an experiment you can do. It's going to take you 6 months to do it. Is in June, in the center of June, if you can go to a place where you can watch the sunrise, where it's flat, if there's a lake or whatever, where there's not mountains in the distance, as soon as the sun shows up on the horizon, you'll feel the heat on your face. You'll be like, all right, nice, beautiful day, clear day. The sun is at the most tilted angle away from us because it's just on the horizon. And so you can feel the heat on your face. And then 6 months later in December, wait until solar noon when the sun is high in the sky and look at the sun, and you won't even feel the heat on your face. It'll be like, how can it be at that much more of a direct angle and not feel hotter? And in the heliocentric model, the sun is 3 million miles closer to us in the north in our winter. That makes no sense. A higher, more direct sun closer to us can't feel the heat. But in June, the most tilted we could be away at sunrise, you can feel the heat. That totally disproves, once you wrap your mind around it, the idea of a tilted Earth causing seasons.
Okay, so what about so in your model that you just showing with the rotating, I seen there were some times where the sun was a lot closer to the edges. So what about the fact that the Antarctica is supposed to be very cold? The sun is that much closer to these Antarcticas.
Yeah, I'm with you. And in Antarctica, there's very different life than there is in the north. Like at 60 degrees south versus 60 degrees north. 60 degrees north, there's plants, there's trees, there's animals. 60 degrees south, there's very little life at all. I don't think there's any trees below 60 degrees south. So, and also, if you look at it, the sun doesn't hang around any area very long. It sweeps away, and it's away for most of the day. Another thing is there's a 24-hour sun in the inner north, but there's not a 24-hour sun in the south. They fake it. They say there is, because there has to be if the Earth is a globe, but there's not. No one's ever filmed it. There's only 3 or 4 faked videos about it. Yeah.
I gotta do a little bit more, because now I'm interested as hell. I ain't gonna cap.
I'm still teetering, man. I don't know.
No, listen, by the way, if you guys think that the Earth is flat after this conversation, I would say you're not good critical thinkers. You should walk away from this and say, he made some freaking good points.
That's what I feel.
Now I gotta fucking go do some work. I hate you. And so on the app, if you click the little color wheel, I have lots of images that can help you. Like if you look at the Moonlander, like, guys, honestly, whoops, hold on, where'd it go? Honestly, is this a spaceship, or is this like a 5th grade project for Tweaker Shelter? It looks like paper mache, tinfoil, curtain rods, duct tape. Does that look like a spaceship? This is the thing that landed on the moon and then took off and connected with the orbiter.
Yeah, that was like the ass end of it, though. It wasn't like
this thing has to take off with 2 guys in it and go connect up with the other end and come back to Earth.
Right, it does sound.
How about this, guys? I'm gonna put you guys in this thing and then bury it in a pool. Would you trust that thing to keep you safe? Okay.
No. What the fuck is this up here? Is that like a stream?
Yeah. So again, listen, I'm pointing at some doors. You can find all of this stuff online yourself. You don't need the app, but if you want to get the app, feel free, because it really is a lot of fun. Just go read the reviews in the App Store, and you'll see that it's everyone loves it. So my YouTube channel is the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, just DITRH. And my podcast is the Flat Earth Podcast. My Instagram is the Flat Earth Podcast, and my website is the Flat Earth Podcast. What's that?
The name of the app again? You said
it's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay, and it's $2.99. I'll show you a little thing so you can get it real easy. Here it is. Just point your camera at that right there.
All right.
Let me see.
So you guys have Androids or iPhones?
iPhone.
Androids.
Yeah, Android, you have to have operating system 8.0 or better, and you need an iPhone 6 or better.
Yeah, I have it.
There we go.
All right. And what was I gonna say? Oh, so you guys know about the Georgia Guidestones?
No.
Yeah, that's another rabbit hole. But Georgia Guidestones were built in like 1981. It looks kind of like Stonehenge, and it's literally got the 10 commandments of the New World Order written on it, which is not why I'm showing you this. One of those commandments, by the way, is never let the Earth population rise over 500 million again. That's pretty drastic, right? But there's this little hole drilled in the center stone, a long, thin hole, like 1/4 of an inch. And if you look through it, the North Star is right through it, and it never moves. How could we be spinning, twirling, and whirling? You know, we're traveling billions of miles a year, and the North Star never, ever moves from that hole. If you do a time lapse, all the stars circle around. The North Star never moves. It hasn't moved in over 40 years. We're stationary, and everything in the sky is spinning above us. Everything is within the Earth system.
Well, that could be the idea of the North Star, though.
Where is this located?
In Georgia. It's on a high hill in Georgia. It's got security all around it. It's literally the marching orders for after maybe something that they might want to call the Great Reset. Who knows?
And what is this? Okay, so this thing here in Georgia does what exactly?
You look through it and you can see the North Star like not move.
Yeah, the North Star is through that little hole. I dare you to try to get in a car going 10 miles an hour and try to look through a straw at something, right? And then drive in a circle, right? And then spiral through space. You couldn't do it, right? It never moves. the stars in the sky are fixed in their position, spinning above us.
Okay, so
around the center point.
How can we feel as though it's crazy for us to be moving in this circle in the spirit, but when we move in a saucer-like way?
No, we're not moving in the saucer. The Earth doesn't move.
It's basically the dome above us moving.
The dome, I say the wheel, the fixed stars are on a wheel. The sun is on a wheel. The moon is on a wheel. The wheels in the sky keep on turning. You ever hear that song? Maybe you guys might be too young for that.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You go out tonight, look at the stars. They'll be in the exact same position that next year at the same night, or in 10 years at the same night, they'll be in the exact same position. How is that possible? Since we're traveling billions of miles, trillions of miles, and we're in the same position. None of that makes any sense whatsoever. Did you know that, the stars repeat? All the planetary alignments can be pictured, for forever. Eclipses repeat, right? Eclipses go on an 18-year cycle, and then they repeat again and again and again. They're not random things. So the sun spins, migrates between the two tropics, as I was showing you. This isn't the scale, by the way. The moon does the same thing, but does it every month. And when they meet at a nodal point and cross over, that's when we have an eclipse. Doesn't happen very often, but it happens on a perfect schedule.
Okay. So I just got one last question, man. What would be the point of them saying it's round versus it's flat? Like, what would make a difference for us?
Yeah, what will be the difference?
Whoever is the gatekeeper.
Because who cares about, honestly, who cares about if it's a fucking dome or if it's like a sphere?
Right.
I mean, maybe they want to give the idea of
I'll give you the answer, and I got 2 minutes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of gave it before, but the answer is they want us to believe that we're in a godless or distant God universe flying through infinite space in a prison where there's nothing more to discover, where we are insignificant, we have no power. When the truth of the matter is, it's not the shape that matters, it's the lie that matters. There's a verse in the Bible, and I'm not the Bible guy. My co-host, by the way, is the Bible guy. There's a verse basically that says, once you see my creation, you no longer have any excuse for denying my existence. All right. And in a heliocentric universe, you can deny the existence of a creator. In a flat earth, you cannot deny the existence of a creator. Now, you could argue all day on who the creator is, what his purpose. Go ahead. But there is a creator. So the people, and I use that term lightly, that are running this world, the Satanists are they don't want you, they hate God, and they don't want you to find God. Now, there are people that live on a heliocentric, they believe the earth is a ball and have found God and are good people. But everyone that wakes up to the flat earth has a profound change in their life. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So to deny flat earth is to deny God, as you say. It's not to appreciate not to appreciate God's creation. Absolutely. And you can say, well, I believe in God. God created the universe and all these planets and everything. You could say that, but that's a diluted God. When you want to dilute something, what do? You pour it into something bigger, right? And like infinite space, and you dilute God. So it's literally about hiding God and hiding who you are. Nobody has dominion over you. Nobody can tell you to wear a face mask. Nobody can tell you to do anything unless you willingly submit. Okay. And this world is totally been taken over by Satanists, and people are just rolling over and spreading their legs. It's ridiculous. Okay. And I'm doing this because I'm trying to wake people up to the reality. We're having a conference in South Carolina on the 27th of March called the Flat Earth Festivals. And there's gonna be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us there. Everyone is awake to the crap that's going on in the world. It's amazing. Once you see flat earth, you wake up to everything else. So hey guys, this was a lot of fun. Let it digest, play with the app for a while. Check out my YouTube channel, DITRH. It's just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And watch the videos there. I have nice short videos there for those people that don't have a lot of time. And I got you, man. I got everything. I got his podcast, everything, man.
You open my eyes up to a lot of stuff today.
Some questions I got to definitely, search. Like I'm not 100% sold, but I'm open to the idea because you definitely gave me some ideas to wonder.
That's the way it is, man. That's awesome. You can't just believe. Belief is the enemy of knowing. Knowing takes time, effort, critical thought, and some more time.
Exactly.
So, hey, let me know when this is up on YouTube, and I will send you the file in a moment, and I'll share it on the app, and it'll get a ton of views.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you again. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a lot to take from that, man. I personally feel like you know, I believe in God wholeheartedly, and I'm not saying, because obviously he said he believe in God too, and I can understand when he say the idea of like you know, not denying God in his, you know, creation, but I have a fear of being ignorant. I do. I have a fear of being ignorant and being punished for my ignorance. Mm-hmm. So for me to not try to actually say, you know what, this God wants you to learn and challenge your mind. Damn. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice.
I know, but couldn't God still create Earth even if it was flat around? I just don't see the whole point of making it a sphere, because at that point it will be. I mean, at that point it will be a idea of. And then didn't, I guess what the gatekeepers, as they would say, or the people who runs this world, didn't they put that thought of God or a higher power in the air? So
that was my only thing I was like kind of like rolling my eyes at, because like he was saying like at the end of it,
Satan
they want us to, they don't want us to like really tap into what God, like, you know, his purpose for us to find out about him. And I just think like y'all doing all this just to be like, I don't want you to.
Well, yes, because you gotta understand the gatekeepers.
But I think it's different ways.
This is where religion comes in.
I know, but I think it's different ways you can like get your point across besides saying the earth is round or flat. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but this is how the devil is, bro. The devil uses the things you don't know that you consume daily to influence you to do everything against God. So these aren't far-fetched, bro. And from what I'm taught, especially me growing up and being Muslim, that the devil uses music. Y'all say, oh, come on. But the devil was harmonious. So why wouldn't the devil use music? Not use music to get your ear. The devil uses entertainment. The devil uses women, which we fucking, as men, we love some goddamn women.
Yeah, so much women love women.
They use, the lust for women, not women, because we're not saying women are the devils, but our lustful nature of women.
The woman gave us an apple, bro.
But my point is, you gotta understand.
From a snake.
But you gotta understand.
Use her.
They use it is always a bigger picture. So I can understand that plot of just.
But that sort of, I get what you're saying. But that still just doesn't say, like, it's almost like, man, if somebody told me a penny is round versus it being flat. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's the point?
That's different. You can see that. You can touch that. That's physical.
Some people could say they got pictures where you could see a flat earth. Just because you can't touch it. But like, just from the video my man was showing me, like, where I was getting thrown off at was like, okay, so say this table is the world, the flat world, and we surrounded by the water. It's never moving because the world has, I'm gonna just say, table legs. How far does those table legs go down? How deep is the world?
I think that at that point,
is it reaching down? I think
at that point, it's the same idea with Earth, right? The Earth is like, you're not supposed to know what's outside of Earth. That's why people are like, oh, we're trying to go to another planet.
You say you're not supposed to know.
Like, even this sphere Earth that we believe in, we're not supposed to know really how we can sustain on another planet. This is our planet. We're supposed to love this planet.
This planet.
This is our home.
Leave it up to them. They say this planet is this day. The planet on the days on this planet is numbered. They trying to go out into space.
Well,
another thing too.
That will be, because whatever God say will be will be. If this planet days are numbered, then this planet days are numbered. You can't do nothing about that.
That's why we're looking for other.
No, you're not supposed to be worried about. A person is not supposed to be worried about what this planet, what's going to be of this planet. Because once you with God, then that's what it is. And if God decides to make you born a story in another fucking universe, then that's what the fuck you're gonna be. But at the end of the day, I feel like you aren't supposed to. The bigger pictures, you're not supposed to be worrying about. And I think that's where we all fall, because this shit opened my mind to just this idea. The bigger picture of loving our earth, regardless. And actually making more of a importance to love our earth rather than making it so minute. We don't give it that much fucking credit for when it's really the biggest component to our life, man. Where we live in our earth, bro. It's how we, like, think about it. Our earth is designed to help us breathe, bro.
But we know nothing too much about this motherfucker, bro.
And that shit's sad. That's why I'm up here. This man telling me, and he's a good guy, you know what I'm saying? But this man up here telling me something about flat Earth, and he's telling me things and making me think about some shit when I should be having enough information to get him back. Yeah, about my sphere Earth that I believe in.
And that's one of the things that you can take some of his shit and be like, oh, okay, because we wasn't taught. We were just taught it was round, and we go around the sun and all that other shit. But it's like,
but I'm thinking
nobody ever tapped into why is it that way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He just gave us.
But I'm thinking about it.
Other people with.
I'm not saying that I agree. I'm not saying I agree with him. I'm just saying that. Because I can't
just open your minds to a lot of shit.
Yeah, open my mind
to not be ignorant to what we was told. That's
exactly. Yeah. So honestly, I wholeheartedly appreciate the the interview because I feel like there's a lot of people that's gonna fucking think about that shit from this podcast. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we gotta respect our Earth, man. This idea of an ozone layer is probably not true. It probably is. Who knows? But ultimately, regardless, we supposed to respect our Earth. God told us to respect this Earth that we live on. Yeah. We supposed to this Earth is like for us, man, and we supposed to, bro. I don't know how many commandments. Were you religious? Were you whatever? Like everything that God ever uttered about this Earth was always to protect this joint, man. Like for real, always. And we don't do it. We litter. We do all kinds of bullshit. I get it. We do drive cars. I get it. I know you can do your part as only, so I get it. I understand it. But
that's just a human
I'm going to inform myself a lot more about not necessarily just flat Earth shit, because it's not like I'm on this flat Earth shit. No, I still think the Earth is sphere, but I do feel like, well, there's other questions now, because that bullshit ass footage he showed us of them fucking landings.
He kind of showed this. It was more
man.
You can
come on
anything on the internet to support whatever you kind of got to say for real. So he already had stuff kind of queued up, and I'm not knocking the information he got. I'm sure he worked hard and searched and and sit there and studied all that stuff in order to have I guess an argument against Earth sphere.
He was prepared.
But it's just like still though, man. It's like, man, I don't think it was enough information for me to be like, oh, I'm a flat earther now.
No, that's what he said. You don't walk away being like, oh, I'm a flat earther now, because you told me you gotta actually go do some research on that shit.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of shit he said was interesting. But I mean, I'm sure that it's gonna be a lot of people like, man, no, because did you mention this? Did you say you didn't say that to him, man? If I was on that podcast, I would have said, "What about the photosynthetic with the atmosphere of the?"
Because my whole thing is I don't know much about for him to, I can't really debunk his shit because I don't really know much about what they taught us.
But that's why the questions I asked, I was like, all right,
not even that. It's just questions in what he thought was his theories. Like I'm saying, I'm gonna keep going back to it.
But he had all debunking.
He didn't answer the question though.
The nigga was he had a bunch.
You can't even answer the question.
No, listen. He had a bunch
of stuff
of things for the people who had.
Yeah, he had a whole thing.
He had a whole thing for it.
The thing about how is the land even staying together?
Dude, I just answered that shit. Like, how many times I got to keep answering that?
How
keep talking about
it. All right, so what did you say? And how
he said, okay, that's like if you had like the idea of an iceberg, right?
Yeah.
We have plenty of icebergs that are in the ocean that still stay icebergs and been icebergs for years.
Right, but if you hit it dead in the middle, it's gonna separate and break apart.
Okay, it ain't
gonna stay together by little bit.
But Jeremy, that's the idea. That's the idea of these earth, this land that we live on is bigger, so much bigger than the idea of what you think an iceberg is. It's so much bigger. So obviously, because we're able to live in it and call it Tennessee to Florida, right? So it's not. You can't just break that off like that.
Okay, so. To that point, that would make me think, okay, so it'd have to be supported by going down, right?
It would have to be some kind of base.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
an ice base is what he was saying.
No, it had to be a land base if we all on land. So we saying we living on ice right now too?
No, he basically saying the base of what land underneath is some kind of icy base. Basically from water. Basically that stops obviously somewhere because it has to be some kind of circle, right? And it's backed by some kind of like idea of an iceberg. And the land parts are just what we know it to be as land, as Africa, as all these things.
Yeah, but that's the on
which
top,
it still can be shattered as bullshit, but it also still can have some points to it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm talking about underneath though, underneath Africa.
Okay, so it's easier to believe that it's a fucking a ball of magma underneath us than to believe that it's a big landmass under us.
I believe Yeah.
I'm asking you this question.
core.
Like,
Say it again.
it's easier. Like you
Yeah, I'm listening.
Is it easier to
taking
believe that a ball of magma is under our feet than a base that might be
like far as like an Earth's core?
It's like a flat, like how he was saying, like it's just.
So it's
which one
easier to
is
believe
more-
it's a fucking core that somehow we just all
That's what's
magnate
holding the
to
gravity.
and it comes around.
I mean,
that's basically what he's saying.
For
the
what
sun
he's
is.
saying, it's not far fetched, but it's just we just have to get it out of our minds if we want to go that way of the shit we was already taught. So like we 29. How old are you?
I'm 30, bro.
So it's like we're older. So like this 30 years we've been taught. We've been on a spear. Like you know what I'm saying. So it's just like him giving us new information. Okay, we taking it as like, okay, I can listen to it. I can take what you're saying, but it's like, it's going to take a lot of convincing for me tonight.
I'm not
it's going to
saying
take
I
a lot of
believe
learning.
it.
It's going to take a lot of learning.
I just don't understand how something, okay, I'm going off what he's saying. This is what I see. This is why I didn't want to ask him because I know it would have been a back and forth with him and I know he was pressed for time, but I'm just saying it's like this, man. If you have something sitting on top of water like this that's not moving, that means it has to be something underneath it in the water, deep down, holding it in that position.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? How thick it is. So if we just around a bunch of water, a bunch of like a moving element, moving weight, period.
Yes.
We don't sway a little bit or nothing. And he said we was inside some type of bowl because everything else outside of.
If I put, okay, here we go. If I gave you a freezer and I threw water and and the freezer was full of beans, what is it called? Peas, carrots, like bags of carrots, peas, tomatoes. You listen to that, like tomatoes, celery, whatever, right? And I threw a bunch of water, and so the water in the freezer, it filled up halfway the freezer, right?
Right. And the pea is gonna float.
Now
on top
listen.
of the water, right?
Some of them don't have to float to the top because some of them are. If the bag is big enough for the bag to stick out when it freezes, so it freezes in the freezer, right? So when you open the freezer, you see the top of the carrot bag, you see the top of this bag, you see the bag. The solid base is the ice.
It's frozen, but in water though.
And you can make whatever you want to at the top of that carrot bag, but deep down, it's the bottom of it's just a bottomless. It's what the carrot bag is, but it's a bottom to that.
I'm lost.
So that idea, I mean, you get what I'm saying, though, carrot. I mean,
then it would be like, nigga, it'll be everything in the freezer. This is what I just got from you saying, bro. You saying like, look, you say we got a fish tank unfrozen. Just everything in that fish tank is, if the fish is in there, if the fish is in the water, unfrozen fish tank, the fish be moving in the water, right? It's there. There's nothing around it. But say you have like this microphone that's going to stick out the top of the fish tank of water. You fill up that fish tank halfway, you stick a microphone there, it's going to stick up like this, right?
Oh, okay.
If you freeze that water, the base of the microphone is going to be frozen, but the top will be open. So then you can probably stick the carrots on top of that. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be supported by going this way, right?
No, I get it. But look, if let's say you decided to take a bunch of that ice away, you still have a bottomless. You still have a bottom that is supported by ice. So you can't easily break this microphone because it is submerged in ice. You hear what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but you can't put water on top of ice though, because I'm talking about the world. Because I'm still talking about.
But you can though. There are plenty of icebergs that show you that you can do that.
It's gonna melt. Then.
Is the iceberg floating, or is it just a big ass ice thing?
I'm just gonna what his picture looked like when he flattened it out.
Is the iceberg floating, or is the iceberg not a big ass thing that has a bottom to it?
Iceberg floating
has the
because
bottom.
ice cannot.
Okay,
sit,
so why can't
ice can't sit in water and float? It'll eventually just turn into the water. You're not gonna have a big pillar of ice. That's
or there not a such thing as iceberg said?
Yeah.
Jimmy, do you know that? Do you know
floats,
that
right?
islands are submerged all the time and they just become they're not an island anymore. They're whatever the fuck the ocean make them.
They don't float.
They're
It's
mermaid
a solid base
houses
on
now.
it, like
Huh?
mermaid houses.
I'm just being silly, but they are no longer an island anymore.
Like smaller islands that break
Yes.
off.
So
Earth is not if that's what the case, why haven't none of the Earth broke off? Like why haven't China or Africa?
But there are so many places that has submerged. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is why this information is interesting, because that could be supported. That's what I'm saying. Like even what you're saying, like why haven't it moved? Like it's so many things that are submerged. They're constantly finding things in towns and think. For example, Pompeii. Have you ever heard about Pompeii at all? Y'all ever read about Pompeii? No. Pompeii was a place in like Rome or something. Like, and excuse me if I'm like wrong with the small facts, but it was a place around like Rome or something that was like a big rich area or whatever. And a volcano erupted, and it was like wasn't warning nobody. It just erupted, and it was like one of the biggest volcano eruptions. Mm-hmm. And it came out so fast, and it was so hot that it literally covered the whole fucking town, like in magma, ash. It was hot. It was so high it froze people in fucking like this.
Lava supposed to
make a new they're still uncovering Pompeii right now.
From the land of the magma made.
They seeing fucking living rooms and shit. They still uncovering that shit. Yeah. So that means there's towns that are submerging all kinds of shit due to this earth. You know what I'm saying?
No, water though. The lava.
The same thing for water, bro. They finding shit underneath too. Atlantis is real, bro.
You can't go that deep underwater. But I see what you're saying though. Atlantis, that's
bro. Yeah. It's real, bro.
He definitely did what I guess he was supposed to do. He gave us something to talk about because it's.
Listen, I am not about to sit there and say that I believe in flat Earth, but it opened my mind to the ideas of things that we could be ignorant to.
No, I
can't wait still on a sphere Earth.
No, I can't wait to die to see like. The truth. I mean, it sounds crazy, right?
Man, kill me so I can see what's up, man.
That's the only way we gonna be able to see like the truth behind.
Man,
all
just be
shit,
woke, man. Be
crazy,
woke.
Bro.
Don't just listen to what the fuck people tell you. I feel like it's hard to get away from the idea of like, oh, be woke. Don't think that the Earth is this because we all been taught. What else was we gonna fucking know? You know, what we gonna listen to what somebody fucking tells us on YouTube?
Deep,
no, we're gonna actually do a lot more research to actually make something make sense for us.
It's just deep period, nigga. Like if that's the case, we can numbers don't really mean shit or none of that shit.
But they do.
That's all.
They mean the most.
But that's what we've been told though. How do we know two come after one? Just because that's what they taught us.
Honestly, it's only that only applies to the land that you lay. No, listen, that only applies for the land that you lay that makes sense for whatever this earth is. Time is relative to where you at. Mm-hmm. Time and 12 hours of time and 24 hours in a day only relative to us here on this earth or us to wherever we live at. Yeah. Anything is relative to where you stay at. Mm-hmm. The fact that you can't smoke weed here in Ohio is because this is relative to Ohio's laws. You feel what I'm saying? Right. And it gets it goes more and more as you get deeper into what is relative to where you at. So at the end of the day, I can't answer those kind of questions that when it's something just so relative to that. So us learning about a circular earth that is sphere.
A flat earth.
No, us learning about a sphere earth our whole lives.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking what he was saying.
It's relative to the idea of Earth and Earth's politics. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know, bro. If he's saying, let's say, and this is just on his theory, if he's saying you're not allowed to go in these outer linkings of Antarctica or not fly these things, which I am going to go do my research on that, by the way,
see that,
because he could have easily got a pilot or somebody on his fucking show that could tell you. It was like, man, I was fucking, one day I had a fucking brewski and I said, fuck it, I'm about to go past Antarctica.
What he's saying is like, that would be going out to that outer Antarctica would be going like off of, if the world was circling,
it would be hitting Earth. The dome. It would be either going off the Earth or hitting the ends of the Earth. Right. But he's saying that no one is allowed to do that.
Right, because then we will see like
because it would probably get shot down. It will be made. I don't know. But guess what? I'm going to learn
you don't think it's been like one person that tried it just for the sake of
That's why I'm about to go learn this shit.
Like killed or some shit.
I'm about to call this nigga back when I find my friend. I'm be like, hey, Dave, it's me, Kyrie.
We'll never know though, man. Like the people who do attempt it, we'll never know because the gatekeepers, as we keep saying, they're gonna keep all that shit on the wraps.
I mean, if you was a pilot and you end up mysteriously missing and you told your wife what you were gonna do or some shit.
But you know how
far that's why. Guess what? It's probably tons of fucking YouTube footage, tons of fucking all kinds of shit that we can figure out if we do some research. Now, if your objective is to find a flat Earth, you're gonna find all kinds of shit that supports your objective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you actually, let me actually go sit there and see what is people saying against flat Earth to where they actually can debunk it. Maybe he have, because maybe that's why he have answers for the debunking. That's why
he have the videos queued up.
But they ignore the ones that show them that they crazy though. Like, I'm gonna leave this one.
That could be on any side though. See, the media, TV, all that shit, you can make anything look like how you want it to look.
That's true.
Another question that I asked him, he answered was that the Antarctica base or whatever, was that supposed to represent space? Because like I was just saying, like going outside of, but you can see how
I've heard you saying, but no, he was saying that he was saying that space, like this
not
space
real.
idea
It's
is not a
cold.
real thing. But then you got the answer. Well, what would that make us? Why would we just be a fucking dome in the middle of
That's it.
nothingness?
Like fish. He
We didn't
make
ask
it-
him that though.
I don't know.
Unfortunately,
To be honest, he made it just seem like we just a project, and then we just living on life.
even
on
if we
faith.
was, there still could have been the idea that every other
That's why-
universe could have their own dome and that surrounds with a fucking sun
That's
and
when
moon.
he lost me.
What does it matter?
Like even when you said to deny the flat Earth is to deny God, like that shit just all sounded.
But basically, say that you're denying God's creation.
That's what I'm saying.
But you don't.
So,
What you also don't
but
know.
how he made it seem like this nigga God just put a life forms inside of a bowl and he just watching it just like that. Like that's not denying God.
I mean, that's still the idea
It's-
of what God does now, though.
What you mean?
Put life forms on something and just watch it.
Yeah, but like it's kind of closed-minded to only think that we is the only life form that could
Exactly.
survive on one thing. Why would he say? Well, see, I don't know.
You fully yourself. You think that
No,
we
no.
the only existence,
Yeah,
like
because
us.
because
We're
you-
so
you
minute
can't-
in
you can't say
the.
it's- you can't call people Satanists because they think, oh, shit, there's other life forms outside of this. Earth
I
and
think
shit
he
like
meant that there are actual Satanists, but then there are also blind Satanists because supposedly they're doing the work of Satan by actually
saying it's spirit Earth.
expanding the propaganda of Spirit Earth. Yeah. So it is extreme to say that, but I get it what he's saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. I don't think. First of all, one thing I know my God is that He forgives. Even though if you haven't been informed properly, like I mean, let's say this was an idea of, let's say this is real, and we were informed by this guy today,
Right, like our eyes just
right?
opened up. The
And we
red pill.
decide to say no. At that point, you when I pray to God, I say, you know, I'm sorry about what I don't know. Please enlighten me.
Yeah, so you
Show
can
me the
do.
light. Give me whatever. I'm sorry about when it comes to a point where you can make it easier on me. Please make it easier on me. Make me see, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Because I do not know. I'm only human. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, and God knows this.
Nobody.
So to feel like I'm going to be doomed to hell because I didn't understand the idea of something bigger than me. I mean, millions and billions of times bigger than me. Even the idea of me.
Right.
I mean, this is the canvas that it takes for us to even live in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like Earth without me will still be good. Will still be Earth. It's bigger than me. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Been here way
gone.
before
Earth
us,
still
nigga.
gonna be here.
Yeah.
It's bigger than me. So how the fuck am I ever really gonna understand this motherfucker? I'm only living it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
See, man, this should have. Yeah, it was a.
So yeah, at the end of the day, I just wanted to. Yeah, I think that's something that's a little different for our fans, man. Actually, please, anybody who listens to this podcast episode, DM us, email us,
Please.
text us.
We read those.
I don't give a fuck. Cash app us. No, I'm talking shit. Send us. Send how you feel about this topic. Are you a flat earther, or do you think that the Earth is a globe? Why? What do you think about the topics today?
Theories, just thoughts on everything. Yeah. Just
This is a great topic.
conspiracy-based
Tell us about why and how. I mean, listen to the podcast before you start going off and saying some shit we already covered. If you do want to tap in onto it and you got a better point, then that's fine too. But like listen and then apply and actually ask them questions, y'all. In the email, in the DMs, in any of that. Cash App preferably, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all got anything y'all want to say, man?
Other than that, man, it was good, man.
We gonna wrap up then.
Yeah, we can wrap.
All right, y'all know this has been y'all already know. Hit us up on the Breakroom Talk podcast or just Breakroom Talk on Instagram, Breakroom Talk podcast on Facebook. This video is gonna be up with Flat Earth Dave on our actual YouTube page, and the audio is gonna be up on our anywhere you listen to podcasts at other than iHeart. We gotta get that together. And you know, this is another edition of Breakroom Talk.
We out. Peace.
We out.
Bro, I know I'm a manager, but I'm gonna talk to y'all niggas straight up. Said, you gotta take them fucking glasses off and look at me in the eyes. I wanna see them beady little eyes when you look at me, bro. Your eyes is really little and you don't look confident. Hey, look, Jeremy, we've caught you on camera. We have these special cameras where we can zoom in and see your activity. Bro, we've been seeing you for 3 weeks straight, subscribing to nothing but fat white girls OnlyFans. And Kyrie, I'm really shocked about this. As your manager, when I found this out, I heard that a transsexual woman came up to you and slept you. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but it's literally on Warstar. You are asleep. He literally took you away from your whole family with a clean left, killed you. Lights out, gone. Y'all got to get the fuck out. All 3 of you niggas is fired. Take off your vests, leave your name badges. Y'all not getting y'all W-2s at the end of this year. Get the fuck out of my establishment.